Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's now 3:55. Um, Welcome to our session today. Before I call on our speaker, I first would like to, uh, first, thank you very much to all of you who have been attending for the past 7 sessions. And last week, 100% of you rated our session with Mr. Salamat as excellent or very good. So we are very grateful for your feedback. Very encouraging words. Thank you so much. And we are motivated to do even better in the remaining how many more? 8 sessions in the coming weeks. And I just want to remind everybody again, um, please make sure that when you write the email address in the Google form for the certificates, do not misspell it, please, because we are receiving so many, how do you call that, bounced emails because the email address is wrongly spelled. Okay. So it's just a reminder again. Please make sure that you write the email address correctly. And then maybe around 5, send a message, Mr. Antoy, my name is wrongly spelled. Excuse me, I didn't spell your name. You did. Okay. So please, when you fill up the form, make sure you write your name correctly because what you write in the space for name, what you write there is what will appear in the certificate. Okay? As is. If you write it in all caps, what will appear in the certificate is all caps. If you write your first name only, as somebody did, of course, the certificate will give you only your first name. So please make sure you do not make a mistake in your email address and in your name so that you don't encounter any difficulty because then some of you will email us, I have not received my certificate. Yan. Yung parang ano, no? I demand my certificate. Okay. The staff has been very patient. Maybe sometimes one of the staff may reply with, that's not our fault, it's your fault. Okay, don't be offended by that. It's simply because it may be because they have to answer not one, not two, not five, not seven, but a number of email requests like that. And again, do not demand for your certificate um, with that kind of air. You request for it, and then we will give you the link. Because we will not give you the certificate, we will give you the link to the evaluation form, which will automatically generate the certificate. Okay? So much for the certificates. It's now 3:59. And as we have always done, we start on time. We start on the dot. And I'm very happy, very proud to introduce to you our speaker for today. He's my best friend, another one of those teachers who have spent more than 3 decades inside the classroom, inside the classrooms. And in fact, he is one of the most loved teachers I know in Southridge, where he taught for more than 2 decades, and now in Northfield School in Antipolo. And like what I said last week, if you are interested to have us go to your diocese, to your parish, to your school, Mr. Ahensha and I and Mr. Salamat, we are very excited to go and give the sessions face to face. Let me just first start recording. As I introduced to you our speaker, he has an MA in Values Education from the University of Asia in the Pacific. He is my co-Tomasian, having graduated from the University of Santo Tomas. But most importantly, he has more than 3 decades of experience in catechizing, in teaching religion, in raising young boys to become good men of character. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow catechists, fellow religion teachers, I am proud to present to you Mr. Ferold Ruch Rehensha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. I just would like to find out if everyone can hear me clearly. Okay, so please tell me. Okay, thank you very
Yep,
much, Mr.
clear.
Antoy. Okay, so let me now share my screen so we can all start the talk. Okay, so yeah, let me just okay, so I think everyone can see my screen. Just tell me if you cannot. So today's session has to do with raising a generation of pro-life youth who will stand up for life. Okay. So before I begin my talk, thank you, Mr. Antoy, for the introduction. I've been teaching for 35 years now, 27 years at Paref Southridge, and this is my 8th year at Paref Northfield School. And in all those 35 years, I have encountered all sorts of students, no? From the best to the not so good, to the slow, to the fast learners. And it has always been a challenge for me. And I guess for all the teachers as well. As I went over the chat box, I saw um, some of the participants coming from Quezon City, from Cubao, from Lipa, Batangas, as well as far as Baguio City. And I also saw someone from Naga City, Bicol. I'm very happy that the people, the audience, come from the different areas of the Philippines. And just wanted to share with you that my brother has retired and he is in Bicol. He fell in love with Bicol because he's in the military, and that's where he was stationed. And when he retired, he decided to stay there. Anyway, today is more on the generation of pro-life more than anything. Before I start, I just would like to share with you, no, a survey that I conducted with my senior high school students, because I asked them. Senior high school students are grades 11 and grade and 12, and these are around 15 to 16-year-old students. And I decided to ask them, what does it entail to be pro-life? I wanted to ask because our topic has to do with pro-life youth. Okay, and don't worry, our students in Northfield are very small in number, kaya actually 15 lang sila, no? 7 students from grade 11 and 8 students from grade 12. And after conducting the survey, I summarized their responses. And let me share with you, allow me to read the responses to you. And my question was, what does it entail to be pro-life? And these are their answers, no? Someone who protects the lives of newborn, someone who is not for abortion, someone who is for life, fighting for your life and others, especially those who are stressed to choose life or death. A person who is against abortion, someone who respects life from beginning, from the moment of conception up to the time of death. Being anti-abortion, and someone who defends life or the lives of others. I found these answers very interesting. I don't know if you did, but I actually did, because most of them, their responses had to do with abortion, anti-abortion. So the next step was for me to find out, alam niyo ba kung ano yung abortion? Because you might just have heard it from other people, because pro-life is anti-abortion. So therefore, my definition of being pro-life is anti-abortion. So I asked them, and those who answered replied to me by saying that abortion, sir, is killing an unborn child. Take note of the word that he used, no? Killing of an unborn child. I said, okay. What else? Someone said murder. Okay. And then someone says, using contraception is also a form of abortion, sabi niya, no? And I said, why? Because you're preventing a baby to be born. Okay, very interesting answers from senior high school students. And I was surprised myself. And it's good for us to find out what the thoughts of our youth are, okay, in this generation. Okay, that is why I also asked them later on, then what do you intend to do? Kasi hindi lang dapat definition. And they said, sir, we have to protect the lives of people. They also said, sir, love life, defend life, stand up for life. And I said, wait, these are slogans. And they said, yes, sir, these are slogans. And I told them that, okay, those are very good slogans. And that is what we're going to do. Let's make this happen. And today, my dear educators, teachers, let us make this happen. How are we supposed to raise a generation of pro-life youth who will stand up for life? And this is very important for us, regardless of whether you're educators or parents. That is what we will do this afternoon. That is what we're going to learn this afternoon. And I hope you are all excited. Let me proceed by showing you this. How much does an abortion cost? It only costs one human life, but that one human life is added to every abortion that takes place. In fact, now that I speak to you at this moment, there is abortion that takes place. That is why it's very important that we don't take this for granted, that when you say one human life lang pala eh, so it's not that important. Oh no, one human life is very important because it adds up to another abortion case. And how many abortion do you think takes place every year? I have this data, but this is last 2020, according to the World Health Organization. Around 73 million induced abortion. And when you say induced abortions, these are the medical procedures of abortion. And that's 73 million, and 73 million is no joke. And that's just the induced abortions. And this is in 2020. What do you think happened in 2021, 22, 23, and this year? There would have been more. And what about those abortions which are not recorded? Okay, so this is no joke. 73 million is no joke. And some people take this for granted. I don't know if you're aware, but in the US, this is a very, very big issue. I have been following, okay, this issue in the US because I am a catechist. I am an educator. I am a teacher. And if we are just going to give talks like this without really knowing what's happening in the world, then everything will be useless. That's why I follow people like Matt Walsh. I don't know if you're familiar with Matt Walsh. No, Ben Shapiro. I follow them because they are the ones who teach us what pro-life means. What is it? What it is to fight, okay, for being pro-life or being a pro-lifer, if there is such a term. Okay, so allow me now to proceed by sharing with you this. No, so okay, so this is a teaching. No, being pro-life or loving life, okay, is a teaching that calls for respect for human life in every situation, but especially for the most vulnerable. And who can be the most vulnerable than a preborn child? No one. Okay, the preborn child are the most vulnerable of this human life. That is why I think that's the reason why my students in senior high school mentioned about abortion, because they felt that they are the most vulnerable. But then again, I added to what I told the senior high school students. They defined abortion, they came up with slogans, and then I told them, gentlemen, when you speak of being pro-life is not just about being anti-abortion. It's not just about killing babies. It's actually about taking care of all lives. You've heard of the Black Lives Matter that the US has actually started. And people were saying, yes, it's true, Black Lives Matter. But I think what is better is all lives matter. So I told the boys, it's not just the babies. Siguro, as what they understood, the babies are the most vulnerable. But then when we speak of being pro-life, we take care of all the lives of people, regardless of whether it's a baby, an adolescent, an elderly. In fact, Man Rentoy knows this. Man is my best friend and he knows it. I told him that every weekend, I spend my time with my mom. My mom is 84 years old and I have to take care of her because her life matters to me. Not just because she's my mom, but because she is a woman and she is old and we have to take care of old people. That is why I'm here, no? Setting an example to everyone that we have to take care not just of the unborn babies, not just of the babies, not just of the adolescents, the average age men and women, but we also have to take care of the old people. So it's important that the boys, the youth, would get to know this, na hindi lang dapat unborn children, but also all our lives. Allow me now to share with you what the Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches us regarding human life. Human life must be respected and protected absolutely from the moment of conception. From the first moment of his existence, a human being must be recognized as having the rights of a person, among which is the inviolable right of every innocent being to life. So it's important that we realize that when we speak of human life, it's not just when the baby was born. That's why it says in the Catechism of the Catholic Church from the moment of conception. This is where I think the argument lies from among the pro-choice people or the supporters. As I said, I've been following these YouTube videos of important people who have been protecting, who've been pro-life, protecting the life. And you know what the argument has always been? I don't know if you have seen these videos. Their argument has always been, no, okay? Life begins at the moment of birth for them, not at the moment of conception. And what is their contention? Their contention has always been when the baby, when the cell uh, is conceived, no, conceived, they don't actually consider it as conception. What do they say? They say that, no, it's a fetus. It's not a baby. I don't know if you have heard of those arguments. And for me, pardon the term, that is a dumb argument from a person who is ignorant of what life is. Okay, that's always their contention. But later on, I will show you why it is a baby and why is a fetus a baby. Okay, so it's important for us to realize that it's not just me telling you this, but it's really in the CCC. It's in the Catechism of the Catholic Church that we have to respect life, protect life at the absolute manner at the moment of conception until, of course, its death. That's why I told my students that it is not just anti-abortion, being pro-life, but it is also taking care of lives from the beginning, the moment of conception, until the natural death of the person. Allow me to continue. Our value is not determined by our size. In other words, what we're trying to say here, I'll go back to what I mentioned a while ago, regardless of whether you're a baby, you're a grown-up man or a woman, or you're an old lady or an old person, an old man, it doesn't matter, okay? Value remains the same. And what is that value? The value of a human life, the value of a human being, the value of the human person. So size does not matter in terms of how we determine the value. Excuse me. That is why we have to claim this. We have to claim. We have to have justice for the preborn. And when you say justice, justice means to give the opportunity. okay, to give the opportunity to everyone to be born. And in fact, when the person is born, we have to take care of these persons. If you are an educator, you have to take care of the children that is given to you. Just weeks ago or months ago, one of my co-teachers at Parif Northfield told me that in each class, Mr. Hansha, there is one person whom we consider a special child. And the sad reality is that not all of us are equipped to teach these children with special needs. And so what happens? We have to make sure that we deal with them. We have to give importance to them because they deserve to live and to be taken good care of. I'm reminded of one of my mentees, okay, just in case you're not familiar with the mentoring system. In the PARAF system, we have the so-called mentoring system wherein a student, whom we call a mentee, is assigned to a mentor, and the mentor takes care of the mentee. There is one student with special needs in one grade level whom the teachers cannot handle, cannot manage. And they said, Mr. Ransha, you should take care of this boy because we don't know how to take care of him. He doesn't want to talk. Okay, he has his face mask on the whole time. Uh, he's not doing well in his academics. Okay, we need your help. Of course, I have to say yes. I have to say yes because that is an opportunity for us to take care of this person who is born but who needs help. Okay, and that is being pro-life. So I hope you get the idea that being pro-life is not just really being anti-abortion, but we have to make sure that we take care of each and every individual, especially if you're an educator, take care of your students inside a classroom. So that mentee, that student was given to me, and true enough, the boy doesn't want to speak. Apparently, he had a bad experience in his previous school. And so what happened? I had to look for ways to help him out. And I had to tell him, okay, if you don't want to speak, write down your responses. And was it effective? Yes, it was. And when I came back to my immediate superior, I told him that, hey, he responded. I said, hey, you were able to make him talk? I said, no, I was able to make him write. And I said, really? And I said, yes. And that is one way of helping the boy and making sure that he is given importance, even if we see that he is special in a way, who needs special care, we have to take care of them as well. If you're an educator and you teach students inside a classroom, it's difficult. Maybe some of you would tell me it's very difficult, Mr. Rancho. You have 40 students, 45 students in one class, both boys and girls inside a classroom. It's difficult to give importance to them. But then again, keep in mind that if we give importance to the top students, let us give importance also to those students who are not doing well. Okay? Give importance also to those who misbehave. I gave a talk before about temperament, and I tell the teachers that maybe the behavior of the students had to do with their temperament. Di lang natin na-discover. As it's important that if we are pro-life, let's discover our students as well. So that in this talk, let us not just focus on being anti-abortion, but let's also focus on the present students that we are handling at the moment, because they deserve to live a good life under our care as educators and teachers. And what should we do? Let's identify. Bakit ganito siya? Ang gulo-gulo niya. Okay? Bakit hindi siya mapigilan, mag-ingay? Lagi siyang maingay, daldal ng daldal. Maybe his temperament is he is a sanguine. And when we find out that he is indeed a sanguine, then you can help him because you are able to look for ways in which you can look for an intervention wherein you can help the boy. Pwede rin siyang phlegmatic. or maybe I'm just giving another example. Pwedeng yung student natin is phlegmatic, no? Baka tahimik lang siya, but he needs something, an intervention, in order for us to help him. Of course, you might tell me, siya, ang dami na nga namin trabaho. Yan pa problemahin namin. Well, if you are pro-life, you can help your students in this manner. Okay? So not just justice for the preborn, but justice for those who were also born, because they deserve an opportunity to live and to live a good life under our care as educators. That is why our slogan, remember at the start of the talk, let's make this happen. And I hope after this talk, you go home and you go to your respective schools and tell yourself, I want to make this happen. But my dear teachers and educators, you might not be able to do it on your own. Gather your teachers in case you can echo to them this talk and tell them, we need to help each other out to have this so-called teamwork in order for us to achieve what we need to achieve, and that's being pro-life. Then your teachers might say, what? What do you mean pro-life? Yeah, being anti-abortion? Bakit? Meron bang pregnant among our students? No. Your students yourselves deserve to be taken good care of. And I hope that is clear, and I hope that I am able to emphasize the importance of being pro-life. Now, these are the signs of the times that I want to share with you. This is very true. But more so, not in the Philippines, more so in the Western countries. The churches are closed kasi wala nang umaattend, pero abortion clinics are open. The liquor store is open. Okay, why? Because very few people go to church. But in the Philippines, I know we still fill the churches, especially like I am a devotee of the Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno of Quiapo. And every Friday, there are a lot of people who attend, who go to Mass in Quiapo on a Friday because of their devotion to Nuestro Padre Jesus Nazareno. But in the other countries, this is what happens. Okay? Abortion clinic is open. And by the way, there's progress, no, in terms of which I will share with you later on, in terms of the abortion practices in the US in particular. Okay, let me now continue. No? So why is it important for people to go to Mass? Because according to this study, there's a correlation now of Mass attendance and agreement with the official teaching of the Church on the issue on being anti-abortion or the issue of abortion. According to this study, the frequent Mass goers now are far more likely to be anti-abortion, while those who attend less often or rarely or even never are more likely to be in favor of abortion rights under certain circumstances. Okay, why is that? I think if you're going to ask me, I think the correlation has to do with being able to hear the words of Christ through the priest. That's why you become anti-abortion, because you value life. Okay, you become pro-life in general. That's why it's important for us to attend Mass and encourage our children, our students to hear Mass as well. In the Paraf system, in the earlier years, when I was there in the 1990s, we quote unquote require our students to hear Mass on the first Friday. But years later, we have removed that practice because we should not require people to hear Mass. It has to come from their own volition, which I agree. I agree naman. No? But then, when we remove that practice, the alumni would come back and say, bakit tinanggal yung practice na yan, sir? Alam niyo ba, sir, na because of that particular practice, we look forward to it now that we are in college, that on the first Friday, we actually hear Mass in our respective schools. Okay? Ang ganda pakinggan, no? But then, agree din naman ako. So, yun yung dilemma natin, di ba? We cannot require them, but we have to encourage them. So, we just encourage the students, no? Meron kaming mga Mass sponsorships which will help them get to practice going to Mass, especially the grade 1 students, no? The grade school students. So it's important that maybe we can also do the practice in our respective schools to encourage our students to hear Mass and hear Mass frequently. That is, if there's, of course, Mass in your schools on a daily basis. Like in the Parif system, we have Masses on a daily basis. Let me now share this with you. Maybe if they called it the abortion virus, I think people would care that it kills 125,000 per day. Abortion kasi ang tawag natin, uh, kaya yung mga tao, they don't really mind or care about it. But if we call it a virus, I think people would care more. I'm reminded of the time, I hope maisingit ko lang, mabilis lang. I'm reminded of the time that I don't know if you're aware that this is also an issue in the US, that if a person identifies himself or herself as a trans, no, at an early age of 11 years old, they don't even ask for parental approval. They actually ask they provide hormonal hormones, no, that they can take in order for the changes, and they can even castrate allow castration on the part of the boy, no, which is, they say, irreversible. Pag tinanong mo, there was again another video that I watched wherein a pro-lifer uh, talked to the students, no, about this particular practice, and they're all okay. They're all okay, no. They said, okay lang yan. 11-year-old, yeah, okay. Even without the parental approval, okay lang, they asked. And then the person shifted to another question. The question was, will you allow yourselves to have a tattoo? And they said, yeah, of course. What about an 11-year-old? No. Why not? Because it's too young to have a tattoo. See the double standards of these people. Okay, I hope you're getting my point. Double standard. Hindi okay ang magpa-tattoo for an 11-year-old, pero okay lang pagkaroon ng sex change. Strange. I find it really strange. And this is true in the Western world, especially in the US. So let me now continue. If you're under 47, you're an abortion Holocaust survivor. Of course, we all know this, no? And 1/3 of your generation did not survive. We all know this about what happened during the Holocaust time. Now, let me share this with you. In Hollywood, you know how Hollywood can be so woke? I don't know if you've heard of the term woke. In fact, wokeism was defeated in the recent election because woke media, woke practices uh, are pro-abortion, pro-trans, allowing the trans people to participate in women's sports, trans men to participate in women's sport. And in short, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't get mad at me. In short, I'm referring to the Democrats. Okay? And in Hollywood, very few movies actually portray a good moral story regarding pregnancy, teenage pregnancy. And one of those movies is this, Juno. I don't know if you have seen the movie, but this is very Christian, very Catholic, because Juno, that girl, a teenage girl, got pregnant by the boyfriend who is that boy standing beside her. And they were actually thought of having the baby aborted. And they had to talk, they had to discuss. But what was important was that they told their parents about it. And the parents, of course, the dad was very upset. But the mom was saying, no, we have to have that baby born. Okay. And then the girl said, the teenage girl said, Mom, but I cannot take care of this baby. Their solution, have the baby adopted. Adopted. Okay. And they looked for the right parents, no, right quote unquote parents who they feel would be the best parents who can adopt the child. Okay. And there were times that he went to the abortion clinic and was tempted to have the baby aborted, but then she decided in the end to have the baby born. Now, was this movie a big hit? Yes, it was a big hit. In fact, I feel that there is a silent majority in the US who are just afraid to speak out because they will be bashed. But then I feel there's a silent majority because this movie became a very big hit in the US. And the people, of course, the woke people were saying, why should we watch this? This is pro or this is anti-abortion. This is pro-life. No? So let us promote again. No, why am I showing this to you? Because media can very much help us in promoting pro-life. And one of them is telling them, sharing this movie and letting our students watch, especially those who are already teenagers. No? Wag naman natin ipapantood to sa mga younger levels. That's why I included this in my talk. And let's make this happen. Look for movies that can show you, that will show you pro-life. No? And it's important that we don't just talk, we also show them movies like this. Okay? And then this is what I was telling you about. Okay? Now, you will see there, no? The cell, okay, person, and then it's starting to become a baby, and then it becomes a so-called fetus. Remember, I told you the argument of the leftists, no? In the US, their argument has always been, you don't call it a baby, it's a fetus. But then if you look at the meaning of fetus, fetus actually means offspring. Okay. And what does offspring mean? Offspring actually means a person's child or children. See how these people don't have the common sense. They don't even bother to look it up in the dictionary. For them, they just want to say, na, okay, hindi yan baby, fetus yan, without realizing that fetus actually means a baby, an offspring, a person's child. Okay? Okay, now I teach philosophy in Northfield in the senior high school. And in philosophy, I'm not sure if there are teachers who teach philosophy in this group, but in philosophy, you teach about the potential and actual, potentiality to actuality. Okay, before a thing becomes an actual, there has to have a potential to become an actual. Like, for example, a mango has a potential to be ripe. Okay, okay, the unripe mango has a potential to become a ripe or a sweet mango. Okay, but a mango does not have a potential to be a gold, no? To be gold. Okay, hindi pwede. So kailangan merong potential and to actuality. And before the potential to become an actual, there has to be an actual thing that should be able to help it become a potential. Example, if you have wooden sticks, in order for the wooden sticks to be burned, you have to have someone to light it. So that's what I'm saying, no? So potential to actuality. Potential, dapat merong someone who will light it. So yun yung actual. So ako yung magla-light, ako yung actual thing. Now, I asked these students, my students, about the fetus. I said, okay, you call it a fetus. But then the fetus has no potential to be a human being. And they're all like, what, sir? What do you mean has no potential to be a human being? Okay, common sense will tell you because it is a human being. And they're all like, oh, nga pala, sir. Yeah, yeah. A fetus is a human being. Okay? Why? Because it is already a human being, no? That's what I said. Now, if it has no potential to be a human being because it's already a human being, ano ang potential ng fetus? The fetus has the potential to become a human adult. Yun ang hindi naintindihan ng mga leftist. Kaya lagi nilang sinasabi, pwede pa i-abort. Okay? In fact, some of them would say 6 weeks. Okay? Pwede pang i-abort ang 6 weeks. And I'm not sure, which I will show you later on. Sa Florida, meron silang tinatawag na Amendment 4. Okay? Which is supposed to allow abortion until the 24th week. If I'm not mistaken, 24 weeks is how many weeks? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 26, 6 on the 6th month, no? On the 6th month. Okay, hindi lang 6 weeks, kundi 6 month. The Amendment 4 in Florida. Okay? And the only way to be able to approve it is to have 60% of the voters saying yes. to Amendment 4, okay? Allowing abortion until the 24th week, okay, of the pregnancy, okay? So I hope this is clear. Fetus has no potential to be a human being because it is already a human being, okay? So meron na siyang actuality. Ano yung actuality niya? The mother and the father. Okay, sila yung actuality na nagkaroon ng offspring which happens to be a fetus na magiging human adult later on. Okay? Paano siya magiging human adult? For the nutrition, okay, that is given to the baby, to the fetus. Yun ang hindi maintindihan. And until now, I ask myself this question, bakit hindi maintindihan ng mga pro-choice? Or nagbubulag-bulagan lang sila, nagbibingi-bingian because they want to, pardon the term, my dear educators and teachers, convenience because they want to have, what's the term? Sex with anyone, because that has been their culture in the US. Okay? Ganon yung kultura sa US. Anong laging panlaban nila? Lagi nilang panlaban? Paano kung the baby is born out of rape? Yun ang laging panlaban nila. But did you know that babies that are born out of rape is just a very small percentage of those babies that have been aborted? Okay? So I hope that is clear. Now, finally, I'd like to focus on the Roe versus Wade. This is a landmark case. In 1973, of June 22, this became a landmark case because Roe, which is actually how do you call this? A pen name, no? A pen name. Hindi nila binigay yung tunay na pangalan, no? It's just a pseudonym, no? Roe versus Henry Wade is the Chief Justice who was sued by Roe because of, she said that she has a legal right to an abortion. Okay? And who won? Roe actually won. Okay? Wade lost in that landmark case in 1973. That's why in the US, abortion has been legalized. Okay? The US abortion has been legalized. Now, this is the good news. The good news is in June 24, 2022, that decision was overturned. That decision was overturned. And of course, we rejoiced. Okay? But the fight is not yet over. Because you know why? Because the moment it was overturned, states such as California, Colorado, Connecticut, the three C's, and New York came up with their own laws that will still allow abortion. Pwede yun eh. Pwede ka magawa ng sarili mong law in your respective states. Hindi nga lang sa buong US. And so what happened? So the victory is not 100% for us, Catholics, Christians. Pero, good news pa rin. Kasi meron ng step nag-overturn sa Roe versus Wade. Kaya lang, ang problema, pagka gusto ng abortion ng girl, ng woman, she will have to go to the other state that will allow abortion. Yun nga lang. Pero, let's continue praying. Let's continue praying. It's very important. Now, allow me to have, this is the 10 ways to raise pro-life children. Aside from what I have mentioned to you a while ago, I'll make this fast. Don't worry, this will be fast because these are practical tips. No? Make sure they spend time with the greatest spokesmen for the pro-life cause. And who are the greatest spokesmen for the pro-life cause? These are the nice little babies. Why am I pro-life? Because killing little boys and girls is wrong. Okay? If you have children, they love babies. Not children have natural love for babies. And understand that the life growing inside a pregnant woman is in fact a baby. So let's allow these children, no, to love the babies inside the tummy of the woman. Okay? And let me share this story with you. That little boy in the picture is my grandson. That's my apo from my nephew. That big boy there is my nephew. No? And when my sister-in-law got pregnant at the age of 17, and my brother was at the age of 22, my sister-in-law was, I think, in first year college when she got pregnant. I only found out about this story, of course, later on. They actually, the my sister-in-law wanted the baby to be aborted, okay, because she's very young. She's 17 years old. But my brother said, no, no, pananagutan ko yan, sabi ng brother ko. But of course, my sister-in-law was very worried, very concerned because the parents would definitely not allow that not to for them to get married very young age or whatsoever. So what my brother did was he told her, no, my sister-in-law, magtanan tayo, let's elope. Okay, and they did. And no one knew where they were, but it turns out they went to Baguio and they survived for a year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Pero ang ginawa kasi ng family ng sister-in-law ko, nag-hire sila ng private investigator. What is my point? My point is if my sister-in-law went through with the abortion, I wouldn't have this little baby, this apo. He's only 4 years, magpo 4 years old pa lang siya sa January. Okay? And my nephew, who was that boy whom my sister-in-law wanted to have aborted, but look at him now, no? And that little baby, precious little baby, we all love him, the first apo. So that's what being pro-life is all about, no? So I'm happy that my brother actually decided to have the baby be born. At pananagutan niya. And this is already my nephew at the age of 32. Okay? In order to raise our children to be pro-life, we start by nurturing that love. That's to start from us. Educators, teachers, again, as what I said, if you have students, learn to love your students. Nurture that love on them so that they become pro-life. They learn to love life because of our own example. Okay? Unborn lives matter, not just the Black Lives Matter. Teach them about civic responsibility, that we have to care for lives. Bullying is a no-no. They have to realize that. And that's part of being pro-life. That's why in schools like Southridge, no, they have this kindness campaign, which was started, by the way, by Mr. Mandrantoy. They have the kindness campaign, and that alone will actually help your school, maybe even your home, okay, to teach our children kindness. And that will help us teach them to become pro-life because they avoid being bullies. They avoid hurting classmates, avoid even hurting teachers, okay? I avoid answering back teachers because we care for each other. And that is something that they have to keep in mind. And I hope you're taking notes of this so that when you go back to your respective schools, you can actually tell your supervisor, Ma'am, Sir, huh? Yung talk regarding pro-life, hindi lang pala siya being anti-abortion. We can teach our children kindness, and that's being pro-life. And we can put posters, no, inside our school campus, okay? And also teach them the virtue of the month, which we have in our schools, in the PAREF system. We have the virtues of the month, which again will help our students learn how to value virtues. And in the process, when they value virtues, they value life. Maybe some of us were not able to connect this. But now I'm sharing this with you. And what was it that our slogan at the start of the talk? Let's make this happen. Okay? We have 10 minutes roughly. Teach young children about human dignity. Okay? Human dignity is valuing life. Again, I'll go back to what I just mentioned a while ago. And number 3, give them the whole pro-life picture from conception to natural death. I've been repeating this a while ago. It is not just the babies, but it is everyone, the children, the adolescents, the adults, the old people. We have to teach them that. Tell them the value of the lolo and the lolas, no, the lolos and the lolas. Visit them. Okay, visit the sick. Okay, that's why it also includes saving women and babies from abortion. It also means visiting nursing homes, treating people who are different with respect, no bullying, please, and feeding the hungry. You have to have outreach programs. Sending help to those who were battered by the typhoon is pro-life. Ang dami, di ba? Maybe we don't realize this, but ang dami nating pwedeng gawin as being pro-life. Protect all life. Okay? Not just the babies. Okay? Now, I am worth fighting for. Of course, the babies. Be forthright about what the church teaches. Church teaches about the importance of everybody, every living human being. That's why we have to be very careful with IVF, in vitro fertilization, euthanasia, family planning. Look into it together rather than glossing over it or saying, well, that's what the church says, so it must be true. No. Find out what euthanasia means or mercy killing. Find out what IVF means. Family planning. I actually know of one of my classmates who cannot conceive a child, who went to Thailand to have the IVF. And I found out pala sa IVF, pag nakita nila na yung egg, okay, that they see na it will not grow up to be a normal, quote unquote, human being, they crush it. They crush it. Where is the moral in that action? Okay. It was my classmate who told me that story herself. No, herself. And she is a doctor herself. Okay. And the irony of it, she actually is an OBGYN doctor who was able to um, help a friend conceive, give birth, and then years later, that same baby grew up to be a fine young woman, and she was also the OBGYN. Huh? Irony of it. Okay, use theology of the body to talk to preteens and teens. Theology of the body, of course, refers to the love of God for us and for a fruitful, successful life without looking into the sexuality, instead looking at the respect on the body, dignity of the body. And I would like to share this with you. No? So Theology of the Body in 1 hour by Jason Everett. You can look into it. Okay, I'll just rush this. Don't get sucked into negativity or infighting. Okay, you've heard of this, no? Attacking priests and bishops for not speaking out enough. People get mad, no? At Pope Francis, no, regarding the TLM, the Latin masses, no, because it's being revived. Okay, which was supposed to be part of the previous forgot the term, no, the meeting of the popes. Case, and then seeming too much emphasis on caring for the environment, which incidentally is very true, again, in the US. I don't know if you've heard of this woman named Greta, who has become an advocate of climate change, but now that she's older, she has become irrelevant because all the things that she's talked about before no longer relevant. While we talk about the climate change, what about the unborn child? Okay. Even if you keep it positive, don't let it be the only thing your family does. For example, the movie Encanto. Again, let's try to see, what the movie is all about. Okay, remember, it's a magical family. Then there was one person who does not know what her magic was, okay, that she has. And then later on, she discovered it. So it should not stop us from discovering, discovering our lives, our students' lives, our children's lives, because we are there to help them in order for you to be pro-life. And make it part of your routine prayer. This is not the one, I cannot find the picture that I had, which I took a year ago, somewhere in Tacloban, where my mom and I went to a vacation, through a vacation. And I saw there a monument also, or a statue of Our Lady, or a woman with a child. And it says something like, this is for the unborn child. And let's start praying for the unborn child. There's so many of them. I'm sure they have become angels, and they can pray for us later on. And be on guard against misogyny. The women have become victims of this. And unfortunately, they also have become the people who have fought for the abortion. No? But then let's be very careful, because there are single women who go through pregnancy, okay, and women who are also considering abortion, okay, but there are women who repent of their abortions, let us keep in mind that they are human beings too. Let us not be misogynist. And let us keep in mind this movie, again, I'm sharing with you another example, which you can actually watch. Maybe your senior high school can also watch this, The Silent Scream. This is about a woman who wanted to have her baby aborted. And then she was talked to by the producers of this movie and told her, sige, we can pay you and we can go through the abortion, the process of abortion. We're going to film it using the ultrasound. And it's called a silent scream because you can see there that the baby was pushing away the instruments. And watching this made me cry. Try checking this out. It's found in YouTube. I've checked YouTube recently and it's still there. It's a 30-minute movie which shows you an actual abortion through the ultrasound, and it will make you cry. If you will not cry, I'm not sure if you are still a human person. So try to share this also with your students who are already in the senior high school. Again, because this is pro-life. So I've given you some suggestions, which I hope you can actually practice and provide for in your respective schools. Model courage in speaking out about pro-life matters. I told you about Matt Walsh, about Ben Shapiro, and I forgot the others and whom I followed. They're very vocal in speaking out about pro-life matters. Let's be a Saint Mother Teresa in 1994. Did you know that she told this to in the presence of Bill Clinton and his wife Hillary Clinton? Okay, that she talked about abortion. That she said that the greatest destroyer of peace today is abortion. Okay, with Clinton beside her, and it's as if she was challenging Hillary Clinton at that time. But unfortunately, there was an article that I read that Mother Teresa was not successful in convincing Hillary Clinton regarding abortion. Again, Democrats, sorry, please don't get mad at me regarding my opinion. Okay, be joyful. Let us be joyful because remember, a fetus was the first to rejoice at the news of Jesus. Remember, St. John the Baptist leapt when Our Lady visited St. Elizabeth and she says that she's pregnant with the child Jesus. And Saint John the Baptist actually leapt at the womb of Saint Elizabeth. Okay, if you're loving and merciful God, why didn't you send someone to cure cancer, true leaders to govern us, no? And then God said, oh, I did, but you have him aborted. We know who wins this fight in the end. I know. We all know this. In fact, it's happening right now. Yung issue regarding abortion, medyo nawala na. I'll show you this short clip. There is a group that I follow. Again, you can practice this. You can actually follow them. You can become a subscriber. They're called the TFP. TFP stands for the Students Who Guard Tradition, Family, and Property. And this is one of their videos. By the way, I subscribe to them, not just subscribe to them, but I got their email and they often email. We have email exchanges. But I'll cut this short. Huh? This is a 9-minute video, but I'll just show you the first portion to prove my point, regarding abortion and these women who keep on talking about fetus.
I believe in abortion and a woman's right to choose. I think it's a parasite. Where are all the women representing? Healthy women.
Look, hold on. Hey, stand back.
You eat meat? Do you eat meat? Because that is murder.
This is TFP Student Action here at the University of Florida, campaigning against the very radical pro-abortion Amendment 4. In a nutshell, Amendment 4 would allow abortion at any term for any reason. And our flyer that we're handing out gives these reasons, showing how the amendment, the wording on it is very vague, why it allows all these abortions, and urging all Floridians to vote no on Amendment 4.
I think a fetus isn't a child. I think a fetus is a parasite.
Parasite, really. So since when did humans give birth to parasites?
The whole point of abortion is you're intentionally taking the life of the child in the womb, right?
Okay, I'll stop here. Please follow them. Go to TFP. I just wanted to really put out my point. And you saw Amendment 4. It says, men, and they're very brave young men. Okay, sabi nga nila, bakit walang women dito? Ang sagot nila, bakit? Pag nagkaroon ba ng cancer, only women, breast cancer, only women can actually fight and promote and talk about it. Of course, men can talk about it too. So they said, even abortion, men can talk about abortion too. Now, what happened to Amendment 4? I'll end with this. What happened to Amendment 4? Was it successful? The good news is, remember I told you, 60% kailangan makuha ng yes votes for it. Remember what they said? Amendment 4 says you can have abortion anytime you want to. Anong nangyari? 57% lang ang yes. I'm sorry. I'm just very excited about it. Sorry. 57% lang siya. Kaya nangyari, natalo ang yes votes. And hindi siya natuloy. Amendment 4 in Florida. Okay, I'll end with this. Okay, remember the final battle between the Lord and the kingdom of Satan will be about marriage and the family. But don't be afraid. Whoever works for the sanctity of marriage and the family will always be fought against and opposed in every way. Because this is the decisive issue. Nevertheless, Our Lady has already crushed his head. Kaya be not afraid. Okay? Ito yung pangako ni Lord. She will crush his head. Okay? That's why Saint Pope John Paul II also said, be not afraid. And with this, I hope I was able to give you suggestions, recommendations, practices, which you can actually transfer in your respective schools so that this talk will become successful because you did not just listen to it. And remember at the beginning, what did we say? Let's make this happen because you, our educators, teachers, will make this happen. Thank you so much and a blessed afternoon to everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rehensha. We will first end the recording and then